Getting girls from your physique is actually so fucking simple, and most guys overcomplicate it with thinking they need to have the best game, the best pickup lines, the most amount of status, the most amount of money, the best car, the best outfit. And in reality, those are the things that don't pull the lever as much as having an aesthetic, attractive physique does. And the truth is, why make life so complicated by having to learn all those things and obsess about all those things when you can just pull the largest lever? That is going to be having the most aesthetic, most attractive, most handsome physique, the one that women genuinely desire, the one that women look at and go, damn, I want to get in bed with that. They fantasize about it. And if you think they don't, you need to genuinely educate yourself, because guys like myself who have a lean, aesthetic, attractive physique are genuinely living on easy mode when it comes to attracting women, or when it comes to just, getting the attention from women that they would like. Now, for the guys with good physiques, but still not getting good results, the chances are that you aren't marketing and you aren't advertising your physique properly. You are, taking photos for the male gaze as opposed to the female gaze, which I'll get into later in this video. But I just want to have a quick disclaimer. What I'm giving away is information. What you choose to do with that information is your discretion. If you want to go bang a bunch of girls, go ahead and do that. I wouldn't advocate for it, but yeah, I'm just giving away the information. You can do that with what you please. I hope that some of you will go on to, get a good relationship and, have tons of children. But just know that you can get women whenever you want to. You can get play whenever you want. You can get sex, you can get relationship. Whether you'll be able to retain that relationship is a different question, but you will have a lot of options if you apply what I say you need to do in this video. So there are really only 3 things you need to focus on when it actually comes to, getting girls easy through having a good physique. Step number 1, the most important step, the one that 99% of guys fuck up, whether they're in the gym or whether they're not, and that is getting lean. Getting that 10 to 12% body fat, because this does so much for your physique, so much for, speaking your sort of your character, so much for your face, so much for pretty much every part of your body, not just your physique, but your face too. So getting lean is absolutely important. And when I say lean, I don't mean, 15% body fat. I don't mean, even 20% body fat. And most of you guys are sitting at, 30% thinking you're 20, or sitting at 20 thinking you're 15. You're too fat. You need to get down to the 10 to 12% range. And what does that mean? How do you, decide what body fat percentage you are without, a scale, or without a DEXA scan, or without some sort of advanced scan, even though they're terribly inaccurate? The number one way is, do you have full visible abs, and do you have a full visible jawline? Those are the sort of easiest way to tell if you are at the right body fat percentage as a man. See, the main thing I see guys fucking up with is that they are chasing the wrong thing. They are chasing size. They're chasing getting bigger. They're chasing putting on mass. And through proxy, they're like, well, I'm going to eat a ton of food. I'm going to put on a bunch of mass. The issue with that is they're just gaining fat. Now, I'm not saying don't get a bunch of muscle. Having a bit of muscle is good. But most guys just end up packing on a bunch of fat with that, and that is not what you want. When you start to get lean, your physique improves in every thinkable way, right? I'm going to break it down. You start to fit in t-shirts better. You start to actually have your muscles visible, your veins visible. Girls love vascularity. You start to see visible abs. You instantly separate yourself from 99% of men, if not more. In fact, having abs is more rare than being a millionaire. So you are literally a unicorn in a room you walk into. Your face starts to improve. You start to get hollow cheeks. You start to have visible cheekbones. You start to have a nice jawline. All of these things which women won't overtly say and overtly tell you, but it does make you more attractive, and it will make women sort of see you and sort of just start throwing themselves at you, truly. Now, what I was saying with muscle, you don't need to be giant. You don't need to have a 225-pound body and cut down from there, or have a ton of muscle, pure lean mass. But what you do need to have is you need to have a decent base of muscle. But that can be done while getting lean. And the muscles you want to focus on when you actually get the V taper are your shoulders, your lats, your upper chest, and your abs. Your shoulders are what's going to create that V taper. It's going to give you a wider sort of shoulder to waist ratio. Your chest is going to give you a good side profile, make you pop when you're wearing a t-shirt. Your abs is, speak for themselves, right? They're fucking abs. You should be training them. Yes, being lean is important, but you can be really lean and still not have visible abs because you haven't actually trained that muscle. And then your lats. Your lats is going to sort of give you the V taper from the back. So those 4 muscles on the upper body are the most important. Still train your legs, it's very important too. But that's the muscles you want to focus on and prioritize by putting them at the beginning of your workouts to get the lean aesthetic V-taper physique. And if you're thinking, how long does this even take? Well, look at my clients. They've literally done this in 3 months, in 4 months, in 5 months, all seen great results from their dating, all seen great results from their confidence, from their fashion, from how they're being treated even by, their people at work. It is a critical thing that you need to address. You need to get down to the lean aesthetic body and start reaping the rewards. It's the biggest multiplier. So if you want to do that, click the link in my description, apply to my coaching, book a call with me, and we can help you out. Now, at the beginning of the video, I spoke about male gaze and female gaze and guys who already have a good physique but not getting the results. And this is because how you present it is so fucking important. Whether you're using Instagram, Tinder, Hinge, Bumble, Plenty of Fish, it doesn't really matter. How you present your aesthetic, attractive physique will determine whether a girl will find you attractive or not. She might look at you and be like, oh, he's got abs, fuck that guy looks like a weirdo. Or she might look at you and go, wow, I want some of that. That can be the difference in how you present your aesthetic physique. And it's incredibly important to have this dialed in because when you look at the stats of where dating actually occurs, it doesn't really occur, in person as much unless you're like me and you're cold approaching and you're doing, day game and stuff. You need to be, having optimized photos. Think about where dating happens. Think about where you're dating. You're dating on Hinge. You're dating on, your Instagram. Instagram is a dating app in 2026. It's a fucking dating app. Or Tinder. Your photos are the things that are doing the talking before you ever get to send that first message, before you ever even get to match with a girl. Your photos are what matters. And what your photos can be broken into are 2 categories, female gaze and male gaze. So I'm gonna put up some photos of male gaze photos. These are things that are, your gym mirror pictures with you with a crazy pump, flexing as hard as possible, or like crazy bodybuilding poses or harsh lighting and just trying to look as massive as possible and like the most threatening physique. I mean, we've all been guilty of this. I do this myself because I'm a fitness coach. I help guys get in shape. It's, I post it because guys like it. I don't want to attract women to my content. I want to attract guys. So these are the things I post. But on the other hand, you have your female gaze. And this is where, your photos are at the beach or at the pool or on holiday or just candid, things with natural lighting, things that are really relaxed. And the most important thing is just where you're not in the gym setting. Your physique just happens to be visible. You weren't like, get this photo of me and my abs. You were just casually walking on the beach and someone snapped a photo of you. The more candid, the more natural the photo feels, the better. And that's what the female gaze is. It's the same as if you were flaunting wealth, right? If you, took a photo in front of a car, like look at my new car, that's male gaze. That's like, showing off that you own the car. But if you take a photo and the car just happens to be in the background, that is a show of high status and something that females are going to enjoy to see. They're going to think, yeah, this guy's cool. Oh, what's that in the background? Sometimes I don't even know. But that is the key to the female gaze. It's making things look effortless and natural. I made a video about basically why it's so important to, once you get in good shape, to make it look effortless, to pretend that you don't even go to the gym. And this is the reason why girls respond really well to when things are done effortlessly. If you're consuming this content and you're consuming self-help and you're trying to better yourself, it's kind of cringy. But if you just have the results and, they just happen to see those results, they prefer that. If a girl starts talking to you about how do you get in good shape, just tell her you fight dragons. Like, don't even tell her you go to the gym. It's unattractive. But that is the sort of key when it comes to female gaze and male gaze. Just be effortless, make it look like you're not trying. So step number 3, and this one is actually so underrated, but it is more the psychological side. You need to now, once you've got the physique and you've got yourself in great shape, and this is what I, again, help men with, book a call if you want help with this as well, but it's being congruent with the physique you have. So if you've built the physique, that shows discipline, that shows that you're a hard worker, that shows all these positive traits. But if you're someone who's come from being fat and you're still deeply insecure, you're still nervous, you're still shy, a woman's gonna be able to read those cues and be like, something's not right here. She's gonna throw shit tests, she's gonna throw congruency tests, and you are gonna fail those. If you don't know what a shit test is, it's basically when a woman just tests if you are who you say you are, and they will see if you're congruent. So if you're, being this alpha macho man on your dating app, she will shit test that. She will say, hey, look, I need to make sure this guy is who he says he is. And if you're not, you will fail, which is why you need to, have the same sort of energy that your physique puts out there. And this is why so many men who are in good shape still struggle, or so many men who have a load of money still struggle. It's simply because they haven't fixed their internal problems. They haven't, yes, the physique is amazing and it will open so many doors, but it will not allow for attention. You will not be able to actually close the deals with these girls. You won't be able to, if you want to sleep with girls, go for it. If you want to get a girlfriend, you're not going to be able to retain it because you haven't developed the character. You are still a needy, attention-seeking, emotional bitch that, is just a shell of a man. You're not really that guy inside. And for some of you, this is really hard to hear, but it's just the truth. You won't be able to get the success you want if you don't fix the internal as well as the external. You need to, have your physique match your energy and your character. So what does congruent behavior look like, right? You're thinking, you just said all these negative things. What does it look like? It looks like just being calm, being relaxed, being a bit nonchalant, making things seem effortless, being a gentleman, being able to joke around, but like hold eye contact. You can't be, some jacked guy and you're like, timid as fuck. It's not congruent. It needs to line up. Things need to make sense in the girl's eyes. You need to be able to be comfortable speaking to attractive women, and most importantly, you need to be comfortable getting rejected, because at the end of the day, when it comes to dating, when it comes to girls, it is a numbers game. There are some girls who are just going to be like, you are not my type. You could have the best physique ever. You're just not my type. I want the guy with that physique, in terms of, he could just be like, there could be a girl who just wants to date black guys, or wants to date brown guys, or wants to date white guys. You can't really count for that. It is a twin element of numbers game, but you can massively up your chances by having the physique that sort of 90% of girls desire. You are not going to hit 10 out of 10 on every single one. So don't get emotional about rejection. Take it on the chin and just move on. That's the best way to succeed with dating. If you get rejected, it doesn't matter. And with that, you're going to create an abundance mindset, and rejection is basically going to become something you don't even think about. And the reason I made that the third point is because the truth is, your brain, for most of you guys who do make a sort of transformation, or you work with me and you've made a transformation, your brain's not going to be able to keep up with the appearance. So someone who's spent 5 or 6 years or 10 years overweight and shy and a bit introverted, and suddenly they get this great physique and they're receiving attention from women, internally they're still that same old person. They haven't actually, their mindset hasn't caught up, or they're not quite fathoming, holy shit, like I'm suddenly getting crazy attention from girls. I don't know how to handle it. Or the first girl that approaches you, you're like communicating super interest, or maybe you're just stuttering, you're nervous. This is not congruent as well. It will take time for your brain to catch up with your body, because a transformation of the body can happen, like I said, in 3 to 6 months, or sometimes a bit longer for the guys who really wants to make a big difference, or they're coming from like being super obese. But your brain will take time to catch up. It may take a year, it may take longer, but it will eventually catch up. The reason it takes time is because you need to walk the shoes of someone who has a good physique, who dresses better, who talks better, who walks with more confidence. And then your brain will start to receive new messaging. It will start to realize, holy shit, like I am attractive. Holy shit, I do get girls complimenting me. And quite quickly, once you start to get those sort of reinforcing beliefs, those pieces of evidence, your brain will just catch up. It will take some time of walking around in a good physique, and the more sort of exposure you can get, and if you're walking on the beach, you're going to get people looking at you. This is just going to rewire your brain to think, holy shit, I'm the man, I'm good looking, I'm attractive. And this will sort of help your brain play catch up, if that makes sense. So yes, those are the 3 steps. Step number 1, get lean. Step number 2, know how to present it for the female gaze. And step number 3, allow the brain to play catch up, become congruent with what you are on the outside. Fix the external, the internal will follow, and the two will start to complement each other. Again, if you are someone who wants to get in the best shape of your life, you want to have more confidence, you want to look in the mirror and feel good, you want to have women approach you, you want to get a girlfriend, you want to have a roster. It doesn't really matter what you want. Most of it in terms of physical success and dating success is going to come from making yourself the most attractive version of yourself. So book a call with me, or click the link and just apply to my coaching. I'll reach out to you. And check out my Instagram. If you've got any questions, put them in the comments. Or if you're like, damn, I need some like specific help, DM me on Instagram, Zaki Thor. Send me the word YouTube so I know you came from YouTube, and I'll be able to help you out. Peace out, guys.